Hi Taurus, welcome to your April 2021 astrology forecast and tarot scope. Happy birthday to all the Taurians who are celebrating their birthday in April. We're gaining momentum towards your season, but the season before your season, which for you is Aries season, is a time that you feel more introverted, you feel more private. You're looking inward a little bit more and you're sorting through some stuff. This can manifest in different ways. You can feel like every hurt, every painful experience, every issue that you've dealt with emotionally in your past kind of comes to light. You realize that certain things were bothering you that you weren't aware of. There's so much in the 12th house for you in the beginning of the month, and there's a new moon there, which gives you this opportunity, this very necessary opportunity to clear through some stuff. When there's a new moon in your 12th house, you're not necessarily very focused on manifesting things for yourself. You're not necessarily very focused on beginning new things, because the 12th house is where we typically wrap things up. We get answers that weren't available to us. We can transcend. And so this new moon for you is that transcendence. Transcendence from the past, wrapping up a chapter in your life so that you can process some things. Your dreams might be quite weird. You might have a lot of fear that comes up. You might have a lot of memories that resurface. You might feel very vulnerable, very sensitive. So be careful with yourself, be gentle with yourself, because Venus, your ruler, is here as well. And Venus has a say in this new moon, whereby the new beginning that you're embarking on, which is a place of transcendence from what's bothered you before, Venus is supporting that. Venus is shining a light on your heart. You've maybe come out of a few things lately. You've maybe wrapped up one particular chapter, maybe a relationship, maybe a job, maybe a period of feeling quite heavy. Is how I would define this energy for you. It is a beautiful time to heal. It's a beautiful time to look at your fears and examine them and really listen to what comes up, because there is a lot of energy with the 12th house where people feel like they're more psychic. That's sometimes the case. You can be a little bit more tuned in. You can be a little bit more intuitive. Really though, you're kind of processing some psychological patterns. So make time for yourself, make time for your feelings. Schedule your feelings in, even if that's not normal to you or natural to you. Do make time for your feelings just to see what comes up. Another thing, if you are having a lot of deep feelings, communicate with your friends, talk to people. In the latter half of the month, you're going to want to talk a lot. First half of the month, you're pretty close to being completely mute. You're not necessarily looking to say very much, to add very much. You're tired. You need to rest more. Second half of the month, your words have huge power, especially when Mars, which rules your relationships, goes into Cancer, your communication sector. Your words have power. Use them wisely. Then we're gearing up to a full moon. Ooh, your words have power, use them wisely. There's a choice involved with you. There's a choice for a lot of people this month because of the Gemini Mars North Node combination. For you, that's happening in your second house of the material, of income, the money you make. You've got a choice to make regarding your money. Are you going to save it? Are you going to spend it? Are you going to have a new avenue to make money? You've certainly been more driven with that with Mars there. And then Mars shifts gear and your words have a lot of power. How you communicate has a lot of power. You, Taurus, have a lot of power. And you have a lot of say in this decision. It's your decision to make. Don't let what other people do take away the feeling that your decisions are powerful. You're at a crossroads with something. You're weighing up what it is that you should do next, what step you should take next, if you're happy where you are, if you'd like to move, if you made the right choice, if you should have taken this path, should have taken this route years ago, or even weeks ago. You're faced with a lot of what ifs. and a lot of what could be, particularly financially. So Magician and the Five of Cups. Don't lend money to your friends is another one. Especially because Mars in Gemini is squaring off with Neptune, and the money that you pour into people you don't trust, which could actually happen, will not come back. So be careful about giving people money, spending money, if you feel a little bit off. It's important that if you make financial moves this month, that you feel good about it. You feel good about it. If it's charity, however, I feel like you'll feel very released from that. Because Neptune in your 11th house is a lot to do with charities and humanitarian causes. You're more likely to want to give to people that are needy rather than people who are just not trustworthy to you, I suppose. So your words, let's talk about that. There's been a little bit of a push for you to talk about the past in the first half of the month. You want to talk about what went wrong. You want to revisit things. Some of you might be experiencing therapy actually around the middle of the month. You might decide that you want to get some kind of therapy, some kind of healing session, maybe Reiki. It's a beautiful time to do all that stuff, to look into ways that you can take care of yourself, your mind, body, and soul. One of the things that I think comes up a lot that's to do with toxic positivity is this sense that, yes, of course, your words have power. Words are spells. But the story that you tell yourself is really the most important. And the reason for that is because that affects the way you feel, and that affects the actions that you take. If your head is completely tangled with lots of feelings of the past, lots of memories, lots of confusion, the best thing that you can do is have someone where you can talk it through. And you may find, Taurus, that the more that you talk, the more your perspective shifts and you feel a little bit more powerful than you did before. You feel a little bit more free than you did before. It just matters that you talk about these things. The later half of the month, when the full moon is in Scorpio, and your partnerships, Justice, your partnerships come up in a big way. It's your partnership sector, and it is opposite Uranus and the Sun in your sign, and you want to liberate yourself from the baggage you've been pulling forward in terms of how you view yourself, how you've behaved, who you've been. You have a full new identity, and it's very healing for you. This full moon, provided you're willing to compromise a little bit and you're willing to talk and you're willing to listen, this full moon could be very healing for your partnerships. You might have better communication in a partnership. You might have a meeting of minds. You might realize you're on the same page, but it requires you to talk and it requires you to compromise in order to move forward at a pace that suits you in your relationships or your financial contracts. That full moon for you is going to be one that can offer a lot of cooperation and collaboration if you let it. The difficulty is that with the full moon in your partnership zone, it's opposite your first house of self. So you want to shake things up. And that can be difficult. Uranus can be regarded as chaotic change. You want to shake things up. You kind of want to move with a clean slate into a new way of having a relationship or a partnership. I get that, but that might actually be good for you. You know, your partner might want you to switch it up a little bit, to be a bit more open-minded, to release yourself from some of these restrictions. And you know, the more you let go of the past up here and you release some fears, especially surrounding your money, if you release the emotions that are just itching at you to come up and be acknowledged, the more you can create magic. But the thing about the Magician and the Five of Cups here is that your perspective matters. They're both cards of our perspective. The Magician is the knowledge that we have the tools, we have the qualifications. And the Five of Cups is where we focus on the stuff that we don't like, missing out on the stuff that we do. But maybe there's a reason he has to look at these. Maybe he just has to experience that for a moment, even if there is a very strong chance that something better is right around the corner. Maybe he just has to see it to believe it, to feel through these things that have been disappointing for him so that he can be ready for the two that present themselves. It's not necessarily always that he's choosing to ignore them. It could be. He could be so focused on what's gone wrong, he's not even open to the things that could go right. But especially for you in love, if you have felt like things have been completely repetitive and a negative cycle, this is the month to break it. This is the month to look inward and say, okay, I'm the common denominator. Why do I feel like I'm finding myself in these types of relationships? Do I believe that there's only this type of person? Do me and my partner keep running into the same obstacles? Because of your season being very focused on you liberating yourself, it's likely that any change you make will have a domino effect in your life. So whether you decide that, I could be a little bit more compromising on this partnership issue, or I could be a little bit more discerning in the people that I pick, or maybe I'm wrong about all men are like this, or all women are like this, or all relationships in the 21st century are like this. Maybe your perspective shift actually clears the way for something quite serious. Venus will connect with Uranus in your sign, and that's a bit of a love liberation. It's a moment to change your style. It's a moment to change your appearance, your aesthetic, in a way that maybe surprises people. Maybe you dye your hair a very different color. Maybe you wear a very different style. Maybe you start wearing a bright red lip after being makeup free. Something like that. There can be that shock factor. And people around you are going to say, you want to do something different. You want to do this. You said you would never do this. You want to try it? What? They're very shocked at you. Very surprised. And it's good. It's good. It's shaking things up. It's healing for you. You can still be solid and change things, especially if it's to do with love. Maybe changing up your appearance would give you a little boost of confidence to attract something new in. It's funny, I'm a double fixed. I'm actually a Scorpio and I'm a moon in Aquarius. And I find as a double fixed person that sometimes you can find yourself in a little bit of a rut before you've even realized what's going on. And the only way to switch it up, the only way to get the energy fresh again is to try something new. But there's always a little bit of an adversary inside a fixed sign person to something new. And I don't know if it's because they believe, sometimes for me, I think, well, timing. What about the right timing? Maybe this just isn't, I don't know. You can talk yourself out of changes quite a bit. But if you go for it, and you'll notice this, Taurus, when Mars goes into your third house, if you make changes, if you try new things, particularly, make yourself a podcast, start writing a book, all of these different things. If you start doing those, life starts moving a bit quicker. More opportunities come in. Life happens when you're making plans, and we can see that in your season when you're feeling rejuvenated and you're ready to commit. You're ready to heal your partnerships slowly but surely. You're ready to heal your opinion on relationships, your experiences from relationships, and ready to just have a little bit more fun, be a little bit more creative, work with people. Invest in yourself. Take better care of yourself. Let's see what your animal spirit card is. If you're dealing with another earth sign, a Taurus, a Virgo, a Capricorn, there is a decision to be made for you. There is some kind of decision that you guys need to make together. Be it financial, be it about the next step, the next stage, where you're going to live. You can bet you that in Taurus season, you become exceptionally busy. Once Mars moves into Cancer, you are busy. The busiest bee on the street, the busiest bee in the hive, whatever. You're going to be very busy. You're going to have your eggs in many baskets. You're going to want to try new things, experience new things, enjoy new things. You're going to be flying. You have so many things you want to do, so many things you want to try. Just don't burn out, because it will hurt. Around that Scorpio full moon, you might start stinging people. You might start getting gripey. Make sure you're getting your rest this month before your season. Make sure that you are setting boundaries. And make sure that you're having a lot of playtime, listening to music. Sometimes you just want to listen to music in your room on your own, especially whenever there's 12th house transits going on. You want to paint a picture. You want to be creative. You want to try anything that feels like an expression of self without need for validation, which is when it's at its most authentic and when it's at its most beautiful. If you've recently taken up a creative hobby, this is saying that that is a good thing. And it's very healing for you. And it's something that can build your confidence. And you don't need to show any of your art to other people if you don't want to. Although when the sun moves into your sign, people are naturally going to want to see you. Especially whenever the sun and Venus are both in your sign. They're going to want to see you. So, you're coming out of this month looking quite sparkly. The World card here, what you're wrapping up is a chapter, is an experience, is a way of life, and you're trying something beyond. The garden in the gate is this girl who is comfortable in her garden. Her garden's nice. It's a nice place to be, but there's more beyond it. There are opportunities beyond what we're familiar with. And the opportunities you're going for, even if you're not sure how easy change feels, by the end of the month, you're really going to want to try. You're really going to want to try. And we also have the play card. You're going to want to try, you're going to want to have fun, not be so serious, to celebrate. And we have Pleiades double mission, channeling and uplifting humanity. You're going to want to, as I said before, work on charitable causes, give your time, give your energy, give your passions to things you enjoy. Be it helping people. Maybe helping people is your passion. Maybe legally helping people is your passion. If you're dealing with a Libra in your life, you guys are really on the healing each other narrative, for better or for worse. Maybe they challenge you, maybe they poke a wound in you somehow, not even on purpose, or maybe they want you to be the best version of yourself and they're pushing you to get some kind of healing for yourself, something for you. They want you to have something for you. They want to work with you. A Taurus and a Libra dynamic can be very healing for each other, especially because Libras are very good at leading, albeit sometimes they can be quite indecisive. So when you're the one that steps up and makes the decision, even if it's different than your usual, they could be quite relieved. So if you want to join me in the extended, we're going to go into the different signs of the zodiac. We're going to clarify all the cards, have a more in-depth reading in general and horoscope, and I will see you there. But if not, have a beautiful April, a very happy birthday, and I'll see you soon, Taurus. Bye.